The interview that Joe Tripodi did was very informational in my eyes. I thought that all of the information that he gave was very beneficial, and I did believe it. I thought it would be very beneficial to CEOs, and there were a lot of topics that he touched on that I thought would um, really make the marketing world more successful. Um, it seems that he said he made a comment that the marketing structure before was more of a spray and pray format, and so I think that now he's saying that it's more focused on not just advertising, but it's focused on making sure that what is advertised is actually going to be implemented. So instead of just putting it out there and hoping that the business lives up to those standards, he wants to make sure that the business lives up to those standards. And I think that's something that's very important for a company to have and to implement. So he's really saying that we need to just change the focus and focus on the actual customer experience instead of just what the customer might see to bring them in to a business. So it's in Tripodi's eyes, advertisement pretty much needs to take just a back seat, and the customer experience needs to be more of the focus so that we can continue to bring in customers and make some, brand loyalty. And I think that that's done mostly by delivering instead of just putting out there what a business would want to deliver, making sure that it's being delivered. And so that I thought that there was a lot of important points that he made as to what CEOs or high-level marketers could take into consideration when hiring and dealing with the CMOs. Because he mentioned that a lot of the CEOs still kind of view and treat the CMO position as strictly advertising. So a lot of CMOs are acting as a strict advertiser. And so I think that if the CEOs would give more flexibility and they would allow for more of a customer focus and broader range of duties for their CMOs, then the CMOs would start feeling, these demands and making sure that they were taken care of so that the CMO would be more successful and the business would be more successful as a whole. Because in this interview, I thought that it was important that whenever Tripodi was talking about the most successful business that he had dealt with or been incorporated in, and he mentioned Allstate. And the reasons why he thought it was the most successful was because they were focused on the customer experience as a whole, and his CEO gave him more flexibility. So he was able to kind of make sure that the important details and the customer experience were delivered. And I think that that would be very important for a lot of the high-level marketers to take into account because they can see the success that was given by Allstate. And I think that it would be important for each of the companies to implement this kind of change to not only help their relationship with their CMOs, but to help the company. And I also thought that it was important on the hiring aspect whenever Tripodi made the comment about the character traits that a CMO needed. And though his quote was, having dexterity, mental agility, and the ability to balance these competing priorities and contradictions. And I thought that that was very powerful because it could really give those high-level marketers or CEOs the kind of personality trait and characteristics that they should be looking for when hiring a CMO if they would like that CMO to be successful. And so I thought that all of those things were very important and could be very substantial in changing and overall changing the CMO's job. And so I thought that it was very interesting to see that in the timeline that we were given, that the position was non-existent until the 1990s. And then whenever it was brought about for the first time, it was basically more of a branding and advertising position. And then into 2010, it finally started taking the role on as kind of being customer focused. And so it's kind of on this timeline that Joe Tripodi was talking about. And so you can see that in the timeline it's kind of lining up with sort of the evolution that he has seen and thinks that it should have. And so I thought that kind of just pushed towards more of the importance of his interview. And so I think if overall they just start to implement and really take into consideration some of the main focuses and the main points that Tripodi made in his interview, then they could be, a lot of CMOs could be very successful. And the high-level marketers could be hiring these very successful CMOs. Thank you.